Hello and welcome to one and all. So in today's class, we'll discuss about the what are the various causes of regional imbalances in India. So just a recap, what is the meaning of regional imbalances? The coexistence of developed regions and underdeveloped regions, either within the country or within the state. So within the country is interstate. One state is developed, another state is backward, not that much developed. And even that is interstate. And even within the state, some regions are developed and some regions are undeveloped. So, or underdeveloped. So that is intrastate. So if that exists in a particular country, that situation exists in a particular country, then we say that regional imbalances are existing in a country. So for the economic development of a country, uh, it is economic development, remember, it is a normative statement. It is not only the growth in the national income of the country or just increase in the production of the goods and services in the country in any manner the country wants. It is not like that. I repeat again, economic development is a normative statement, meaning there should be a way in which the country should develop. So if it's developing in such a way that only certain areas are favored, one and the remaining other areas are remaining backward. So only certain sections of the people are benefiting. Majority of the other sections of the population are not benefiting out of the development of an economy. That is not the correct thing. That is not fair. So if the economic development has to be happening in a country, the country should see to it that all the people in the country, all the regions in the country, all the states in the country are benefiting and developing. So that is the way the country should develop. And as far as India is concerned, we have seen that in the review of 5-year plans also, we have seen the government, we have not reached that goal of getting that balanced regional development. And based on several indicators, starting from NSDP and workforce participation, like that, so many indicators, and then the per capita consumption of electricity. So the so many indicators, poverty levels indicate that there are regional imbalances existing in a country. Okay. So now what are all the causes for in the first place, what was the reason for that arise, existing regional imbalances in our country? So first and foremost, historical reasons. So historical reasons means we can go back to what happened during the British rule. So during the British rule, what did they do? They developed only certain areas. Developed only certain areas like Maharashtra and West Bengal. So mostly they favored, Calcutta. That time it was called as Calcutta, Madras, and Bombay. These are all these old names of the respective cities. So only these three cities, places, regions were favored by the Britishers. The reason is they're all having the ports. So in order to favor that East India Company, they wanted a trade, isn't it? Actually, what the Britishers were doing, they were exporting the raw materials from India, and the industrial revolution was happening in British during that period of time. So they were exporting the raw materials from our country, and the industrial development, the East India Trading Company. So they were using that raw material for the export and to develop the industries in their own, in England, in their own country. So only these three places they were having the ports, isn't it? So only these areas, these regions were developed during the British rule. So that is the origin of what you say, that historical reason. That is the beginning of regional imbalances in our country. Okay. And then second reason is geographical conditions. So geographical conditions, basically the climatic conditions should be favorable. The natural resources should be favorable. So if it is in the form of a hilly area and all, you can understand then it is very difficult to develop all those areas. For example, you take Punjab. So Punjab, we have seen, isn't it? Punjab is one of the developed states in our country. So it is an what is the reason that Punjab is one of the developed states in the country? Punjab is more concentrated more on agriculture. So you have the favorable climate is there, favorable climate, and plenty of water resources, Ganges. So plenty of water resources, fertile soil, all favoring the agriculture, especially the production of wheat. So because of that reason, Punjab was able to develop. So this is natural. This is the geographical condition. Natural resources are available in that particular area, in that particular state. So they are able to develop. But you take the other areas like Himachal Pradesh, Jammu and Kashmir. So now they're all the hilly areas, isn't it? So hilly areas, it is very difficult to develop those states. So they all belong to the category of underdeveloped states. So because of the prevalence of favorable geographical conditions, some states, some regions become developed, and because of the unfavorable geographical conditions, certain areas remain underdeveloped. That is another reason. Then the next reason is the what is that? Because of all these reasons, there is something called as the private investment. So the private investment, obviously, the private investment will go only in those areas where it is already developed in the form of Maharashtra, Punjab, like that Gujarat, because they are all developed. So they have the better infrastructural facilities. All those developed states, developed regions, they have better infrastructural facilities. So what the private investment will go only in those areas where they have the better infrastructural facilities and they are already developed. So now what is happening? Already these regions, because of the maybe because of the historical reasons, maybe because of the geographical conditions, maybe because of the availability of natural resources, whatever might be the reason, those areas are already developed, or the progress of development is quite rapid in all those regions. And on the top of it, if the private investment is also going to only those areas, so the gap between the and they will still develop much faster. So what is happening? The gap between the developed and the underdeveloped states will keep on widening. So more and more, the other regions will remain backward. They will be pushed into backwardness, while these other states already anyway they are developed. They continue to develop at a very, very faster rate. And you know that now with the economic reforms, finally again we are concluding with the same topic, that economic reforms. So economic reforms, which is again favoring the privatization. So and all those things, they are favoring only the developed states. So what is happening? The gap, the regional imbalances in the country keeps on widening or increasing, which is not a very good thing for the smooth development of economy. Okay. Anyway, these are all the some of the causes for regional imbalances. Okay. Now, what are all the? It is not fair. It is not fair for one region to be developing at a faster pace and another region to be remaining undeveloped or underdeveloped. So it is not fair. So it has got a severe consequences of regional imbalances in the country. Okay. So now these consequences of regional imbalances, the what is happening here, already developed states, more and more investment is again going only into that particular region. So what is happening? First thing, investment. So the investment only in developed regions. Just now we read the private sector is investing only in those regions or states which are already developed and which are having the better infrastructural facilities. So again, the investment is going only to those states. So investment only in developed regions. So because of this investment in only in developed regions, that is leading to what you call, we have that concentration, the economic concentration of developed regions. Isn't it? So the wealth is concentrated only in those areas. And this what this leads to, this attracts the people from rural area, other backward areas. So what is happening here? The migration from of people. So migration of people from backward areas. People tend, because they are attracted by the development. So this leads to, leading to, we have all the what you call the socio-economic problems. So water, I mean, shortage of water, I mean, no proper sanitation facilities, all the problems of urbanizations, overcrowding. So this leads to socio-economic problems in the country. I mean, in those developed regions also. Okay, and since it is, what is the other effect of, other consequence of investment only in the developed regions? So the low development of other areas, the other areas will not be able to develop because of the, all the investment, all the concentration is entirely going only to the developed regions. Okay, and this leads to unemployment, obviously, because if there is no investment in the backward areas, who will do the production? Isn't it? How the production will take place in the underdeveloped areas? So if there is no production, this is going to lead to unemployment in the country. And then again, because of the lack of development, lack of investment, there is all, obviously, the inefficiency of the labor force. So they are not skilled. No investment, no investment is going there at all, isn't it? In the form of education, in the form of skill, in the form of health, none of the investments are directed towards the backward areas. Automatically the labor force will remain inefficient. So again, that is also leading to, it's a two-way street. So unemployment and its inefficiency, and because of the inefficiency is also leading to unemployment. And again, that is leading to all this. You have the poverty, illiteracy, too much exploitation of labor. So again, etc. All this problem. And now this again leads to inefficiency. So everything becomes a two-way street. So they, this underdeveloped states, underdeveloped regions, they are completely caught in that vicious circle. They are not, this is the vicious circle. They are not able to come out of that underdevelopment. So again and again, one thing leads to other. They keep remaining in that underdeveloped state. That areas are not coming forward, I mean, developing at all. So now again, this makes the people, all the labor force, they tend to, they get attracted to urban areas or wherever that investment is taking place, and they migrate. So this migration is taking place. So everything is becoming a sound. So finally, what is happening? There is a gap there. So there's a too much of gap. This gap becoming widening and widening, and that problem rotates in the country. So one area keeps on developing at a faster pace, and another area keeps on remaining underdeveloped. So this is the, and finally it is what is happening, it is affecting the national integrity. So national integrity is affected, and there is no inclusive growth, because everybody is not benefiting out of the economic development of the country. Then that integrity, isn't it? It creates unrest. That it one, the jealousy, and I mean, what murder, the crime rates. Why that person is developing more than me? Why that region is developing more than my region? Isn't it? That kind of feeling will arise. That leads to crime rate. So the national integrity is affected. So these are all some of the consequences of regional imbalances. Now, what are all the remedial measures that can be, I mean, measures that can be taken or that are taken by the government to reduce regional imbalances? So first, we have seen, starting with, the main problem is arising because of investment, isn't it? Investment is not happening in the backward areas. Investment is happening only in the forward areas, developed areas. So first and foremost thing, investment should be done in the backward areas. So investment in the backward areas, including private investment. So private sector should come forward to invest in the backward areas. So what the government can do? So the government can give some kind of tax concessions, tax holidays. The government can give certain kind of subsidies. I mean, encouraging the private sector to come forward to invest in the backward areas. Which are all the areas the investment can be directed to? First, to develop the physical infrastructure in the backward areas. Highlight it. To develop the physical infrastructure in the backward areas. So physical infrastructure in the sense that all those roads, communications, transport, power, electricity, etc. So all this, that is physical infrastructure, because infrastructural facilities are not that much developed. So that is the main problem the private sector is finding. So physical infrastructure should be developed. And then next, to develop the, it is not enough if it is directed only for the development of physical infrastructure. Next, it should also be directed towards the development of social infrastructure. So another major important area in which the backward areas are lagging behind is in the area of social infrastructure. That is on education and health. Education and health. So all this poverty, illiteracy, inefficiency. So all this will be checked. All those can be controlled if proper education and health standards are there with the people who are residing in the backward areas. Okay, then another major thing, the backward areas. See, when we say backward areas, it is automatically it comes to our mind, it is the rural area. So in which occupation they are depending in rural areas? So they are depending on agriculture. So investment, is that agriculture fetching them any money income? No. So because agriculture is not that much developed, even though majority of the population are depending on agriculture, it is not contributing anything to their development. So agricultural productivity in the country should be increased, so that the people who are depending on agriculture, they should be able to get steady money income. So for that, to develop the more and more investment should be done on agriculture. So to develop the agricultural, so in the agriculture there are so many areas are there. Agriculture, it is not only with the problem of cultivation. See, for example, in the form of, in the areas of irrigation, so that the farmers will not be depending upon the erratic climatic conditions, isn't it? So investment on irrigation, and there is something called as the agricultural marketing. So the marketing, there were so many, the farmers right from the land starting to cultivation till they sell the commodities in the market, they are finding so many obstacles, they are finding so many problems. Okay, so okay, before agricultural marketing, let me move, say that irrigation, supply of agricultural inputs, all those whatever is required for cultivation in the form of seeds, fertilizers, modern methods. So all those things should be provided. I mean, in all those areas should be developed. For that, investment is necessary. Okay, agricultural inputs, and then most importantly, finance or loan. They should not be borrowing money from the money lenders. The banks and other financial institutions should be willing to lend loans to the farmers, including the small and marginal farmers. So finance or loan to the farmers, and then agricultural marketing. So they should be able to sell the commodities in the urban areas at the market price. For that, they are having so many problems. So for that, this physical infrastructure is very, very necessary. So rural roads are not that good. The communication facilities are not good. The transport facilities in the rural areas not good. The power availability of electricity is not good. So all those will enable the farmers to, all those facilities will enable the farmers to sell their produce in the market at the market price. So agricultural marketing. And then there is something called agro processing units should be favored. I mean, the what is agro processing unit? I mean, what do you say? Oil has to be extracted from the oil seeds, isn't it? So like that, the final commodity. I mean, uh, paddy. I mean, the husk has to be removed and it is converted, isn't it, in the form of rice? So like that, the commodity has to go through certain processing. So one day then they will be useful for final consumption. It is like giving a farm utility to the commodity. So for that, different agro processing units are necessary. So the farmers, they need not have to depend only on land. They need not have to depend only on cultivation. So side by side, all these other areas could be developed, investment can be made, and then farmers should be able to depend on all these other areas. All these are related to agriculture only. Okay, so agro processing units, and then allied activities. So allied activities like uh, fisheries, for forestry, animal husbandry. So all these also can be given importance. So many things can be done in agriculture to enable the people residing in the rural areas to get more and more amount of money income. So it not only have to depend on cultivation in a small piece of land. That's what it is. So for that, the investment should be done both by the private sector as well as by the government, or give the financial assistance to the farmers, give the knowledge for the modern methods of cultivation, give the knowledge to the farmers how they can sell the commodities in the market at the market price, how they can grade their commodity. The grading is one of the important stages, isn't it? So all this knowledge should be provided to the farmers. All those facilities should be provided, and also there's something called warehousing, storage. So there are so many areas are there. So like that, the farmers have to store their commodities before they finally sell the commodities in the market. They don't have all the storage facilities and all. So provide that storage facilities to the farmers. So they will not be desperate to sell the commodities in the rural areas at whatever the price that is prevailing there. So there are so many investment areas in agricultural sector. The investments can be done, which will enable the farmers to get more and more amount of income, or the people, and finally the people in the rural area will also get the money income. So automatically the area will develop. Okay, and then the next area what they can investment is technology. Of course, it can be in technology in the, mostly since they are depending upon agriculture, the latest methods of technology that can be done in the agricultural sector, or they can be, provided the knowledge to start their own, sorry, for the cottage and small scale industries. So investment enabling the rural people not to depend on agriculture, they can start their own cottage and small scale industries. So some kind of financial assistance to the people there. Okay, so these are all the areas the investment can be done in the backward areas, so that they will also slowly start developing. Okay, then the second what has to be done is most important: control the growth rate of population. Okay, so more and more initiatives should be done, and for the people residing in the rural area should be made to understand the problems of overpopulation. So whatever the necessary steps to be taken to reduce the growth rate of population in the rural areas. And the next one, this we have already said, several employment programs. Anyway, is all being done, still it is insufficient. So related to the problems which we are having, whatever the employment programs which are undertaken till now, seems to be insufficient, because of that only still the regional imbalances are existing in our countries. Okay. And inclusive growth. So inclusive growth, the country should see to it that the poorest of the poorer sections are also benefiting in the economic development, especially people uh, belonging to, especially the scheduled caste and scheduled tribe, because they are the most vulnerable, the tribal people. They are the most vulnerable sections of the people. So they are not, most of them, they are not included in the growth process. So see to devise the way so that they are also included in the economic growth. And then, and more financial assistance, allocation of budget, more financial assistance or extra allocation of resources in the budget to the backward areas. So depending upon the size and the intensity, extent and intensity of backwardness in each and every state, so that particular state should be given extra financial assistance. Okay. So to the backward regions or states. Okay. So these are, I mean, just some of the measures that will help the backward areas to be on, I mean, they cannot be on par with the forward areas, but at least they will also start developing. So now why do I say that they cannot be on par? I mean, it's going to take a long time for them to come to on par with the for developed areas. So because now for that you have to understand what is the meaning of, if there is no regional imbalances in the country, that means there is balanced regional development in the country. So that's what it's meant. So balanced regional development. Now, what is the meaning of balanced regional development? So it is not that all the areas in the country are the development in every area, I mean, every angle, they are all equal. So it is not possible. It is not possible for all the states, all the regions in the country to have the equal development, because we have already seen the natural resources in a differs from one region to another region. So geographical conditions differ from one region to another region. So it is not possible for all the regions in a country to be on the equal developmental process. So now what is the meaning of balanced regional development? Of course, this is if there is no regional imbalances, balanced regional development. So now meaning of balanced regional development is, so developing an area according to the potentialities of that area. That is what is known as balanced regional development. Meaning, see, even the backward areas, they're having some kind of favorable conditions. Okay. See, there, why we are having the drought prone area program, hill development area program. So you cannot make those regions on par with, for example, Maharashtra, Gujarat, or Tamil Nadu and all, isn't it? Because they are all having very, very favorable conditions. But that doesn't mean that you should ignore all those areas because they are in the hilly area, because their geographical conditions are not favorable, because they are in the desert region, because this area is a drought prone area. So what is the main cause and consequence here? We have seen it is investment, isn't it? So investment is going only in the forward area. That should not be there. If there is some kind of potentiality is there in a particular backward area, to utilize that potentiality, the investment has to be done even in the backward area. So develop the area according to their potentialities. So if you are developing the hilly area by making certain kind of investment, you are not wasting that area. So according to whatever the whatever that can be utilized in that particular area, so that potentiality has to be utilized. It should not be made to go waste. So don't neglect that particular area. Make some kind of investment, analyze, identify what is the potentiality of each and every backward area. According to that, you make the investment. You need not have to make the same amount of investment which you are making in the forward area, but at least make some kind of investment. If you are making 70% investment in the uh, forward developed area, at least 10%, 20% make some kind of investment in the backward area also. So one area maybe 5%, with the amount of 5% you will be able to utilize only that much worth that place is having. But don't leave just because only 5% investment is required, only this place is worth only for 5% investment. Don't leave it like that. So whatever the worthiness of that particular area, whatever the potentiality of that particular area, make the investment. So they will also slowly become developed. So that is the meaning of balanced regional development. So developing an area according to the potentialities of that particular area. So if this is the way the economic development is done, then it is a economic development is happening in a country in a proper manner. Okay, so these are all the some of the suggestions the government can do, or certain things which the government is already doing to reduce the regional imbalances in the country. Okay, hope the concept is clear to everyone. So with this we are finishing with the fourth unit. Okay, so if you find this video useful, please like, share and subscribe. And if you have any doubts, please mention in the comment box. Okay, so until my next class, next video, take care. Bye bye.